Hi guys, just waiting for Babs to join. Here she is.
Hi.
There you go.
Oh God, these technical issues. I've never done a live before, so I was like,
I
oh my
had
God,
never
how
done
do
it.
I do this?
So you used to be able to save it onto your profile for 24 hours afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And then you can't do that anymore. So first
Oh.
time that happened, you have to do it to IGTV. And I was just like, what's going on? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm old. I don't know technology anymore.
I know. Tell me about it.
Changes so quickly. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. I just got back from my evening walk.
Yeah.
Finished my steps.
I did a hit class, like a hit live with Kerry Sexton at
Oh
9
God.
o'clock. My legs are still dead. Like,
Oh no.
she likes to start them with 1 minute of burpees.
Oh my God. That's like my worst nightmare, burpees. Oh
Do
my
you know,
God. I hate
it
them.
was like, I never do cardio, do I? So even when I prep, I just do steps. So I would just like, well, she asked me to do it. And I thought, it's a good challenge.
Yeah.
And being live will push me to go through. I
Yeah.
still have to slope off some of them early, and she's still doing them, and I'm like, shh, because they're hard, but I feel so
Yeah.
good afterwards.
Yeah, so I used to teach HIIT classes at the gym, and I know my clients love it, but I'm like, and it's really savage, but I'm like, how do you guys do it? And one of the classes was at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, and they would turn up full of energy, and I'm like, okay, let's go for it. And honestly, I just felt so sorry for them all the time, but like I couldn't do it.
No. Do you know the only reason I don't do anything else is because I'm still trying to really grow my legs. I need them to be recovered. So I cannot do anything high impact if I'm trying to grow. And then in prep, I haven't got the energy. So it's like, it's a catch-22. But this is the time, isn't it, to get used to doing it. So my body will get used to doing it before we do go back to the gym.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's good to try out new things. And also because now obviously your expenditure is a little bit lower. A little bit lower.
He comes to every single one. Aww. He just wants to be on my lap. Hi everyone.
Oh.
And then he just lays here like a baby.
Oh.
Oh, I would have gone mad
without them. Your training partner.
Did you see? I don't know. Maybe you don't follow him anymore. Rob, my ex-boyfriend, trained with me yesterday, and he was doing the floor press, and the cat was trying to get involved.
Yes, I saw him in your squat video.
In my 100 kilo squat.
Oh, yeah. That's really impressive, by the way.
Do you know what? I haven't been able to squat for years, have I? Because of my hips. And just in lockdown, it's one of the only movements I can do because we don't have any machines. So I've just been really working on my, stripped it right back. I started at 40 kilos and I've just built it up over the month.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really good. Really
How's your training going?
Yeah, it's going really well. I'm lucky enough to have access to good equipment. So my training hasn't really changed much during lockdown. In fact, because I train on my own, I have the equipment for myself, so I can just really get through my sessions quickly, and it's just a lot more efficient now. So I'm loving it. I
just love, in between your sets, sitting on the sofa.
Yeah.
I'm literally like, oh, this is comfortable.
No, honestly, like your little gym setup is perfect.
Do you know, it's because I was halfway through a prep when lockdown started, my mindset was still, you know, train, train, train. And I just thought it's worth the investment. We don't know when gyms will be open. I will still use it even when the gyms are open, you know, even if I use it once a week, it still gives me that time back because I do still work a corporate job and I'm not self-employed. So yeah, it just gives me a bit of flexibility, which is good.
Yeah, definitely.
That leads us on quite nicely to a topic of I had a lot of people ask questions about moving from a corporate job to fitness, because obviously it's your passion and it's your hobby, and then it becomes your life. And you did just that, didn't you? You had a corporate job in London and now you're living the dream.
Yeah, so I used to work in a corporate reception role a few years ago when I started competing. And so in the first 3 years of my competing, I was still in that job. And it just became harder and harder to match the two and fit my training around my job. And my excuse was always that I want the gym and training to be my hobby, and when I finish work, when I leave the office, I want to leave work there and then just do what I enjoy doing. And then the realization came when I won my pro card. That prep was really, really hard for my pro qualifier. And I thought that if I wanted to be successful in this sport and if I wanted to be a good pro, I will have to make changes, because I can't do another prep like that. Because it was just too much. Like literally up at 4 o'clock in the morning, do cardio, go to work, go for a walk at lunchtime, finish work at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever, go to the gym, train, go home, prep food, bed.
And that sometimes even more steps, right? Or more cardio. That is my last prep. Exactly what you just described.
It was just so exhausting.
Actually why my goal is not IFBB Pro. It's not because of anything other than I can't make it work with my lifestyle to compete at that level. To compete against girls like Phoebe, because that's who I'd be up against in bikini. There's no way I could give enough to be competitive as a pro in IFBB. So yeah, it's exactly what you just described. That lifestyle is, you don't even, it's not even 100%, is it? You got to try and find another 20% on top.
Yeah, honestly, that's the case. And I think many people think that becoming a pro then it means that, you know, you bodybuilding starts paying your bills, which is not the case. So like I still work a lot. Probably I work more than I used to, but it's just I can fit my, I can prioritize prep, I can prioritize my training, and just make sure that I fit work around my training and not the other way around. So after that prep, after I won my pro card, I decided that this is really what I'm passionate about, and I want to be a top athlete. I want to step on the Olympia stage. I want to place at the Olympia eventually. And it's just I just realized that I had to make changes, because if I want to make it to the Olympia, if I want to be a top pro, then that has to be the priority. And it will require a lot of sacrifices. So that's why I made the and also because I didn't enjoy my job. Like I hated it. It got to a point where I could have cried when I had to go to work. Just didn't
So
want to do it.
obviously, in that respect, it's an easy decision, isn't it? But then you got the uncertainty of going from a salary to self-employed.
Yeah.
How scary is that?
Yeah, I think that's that was something that always held me back, because I don't really like taking risks. So I like my. It's really interesting because I don't mind pushing myself outside my comfort zone when it comes to training, when it comes to prep.
Yeah.
But then I quite like to have that, or enjoyed having that security net.
Yeah.
Financial security net. And I was like, yeah, you know, I need this monthly fixed income, because otherwise how am I going to survive? Like, you know, I'm on my own here. I don't have my family in this country. So it's not just like, okay, I can move back home anytime, or, you know, let my parents look after me.
Yeah.
So, but then again, honestly, just make the jump and you will figure it out.
Yeah. Did you like have any savings set aside just for the start or anything like that?
Yeah. I had some savings, and so I was like, okay, if you know, if my plan doesn't work out, then I can survive for a couple of months. Obviously, it's not ideal.
No.
But you know, if you have to, then okay, fine, you just spend some of your savings. But then I was lucky enough to. So my coach, Rob, owns a gym, and I qualified as a PT, and he was looking for people to work at his gym. And so he was like, oh, do you want to come down and work for us? And that also meant that I had to leave London. And again, I lived in London for 10 years. So that's like another big change.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. So just freaking out. So yeah, but then I decided that, okay, well, in London, if you don't have a job in London, and you have to pay rent, you are in deep shit.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, so that's just that wasn't really an option to stay in London and then not really having a job or having a plan. So I was like, well, to be honest, like I don't enjoy living in London. I don't enjoy my job. I don't have anyone that keeps me in London. So what am I doing in London? What am I doing in my job? So I just went for it.
Sometimes I go through phases like that where I think if you're not utilising, the thing about London is the social life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then as I get further into my fitness journey and competing and starting to have bigger and bigger goals, I obviously just don't go out that much.
Yeah.
And even at the weekend, my whole social life at the weekend revolves around going to King's Gym and seeing everyone there, you know? And I just think, do I really need to be in London anymore? Because it's so expensive to live. Yeah. But if you don't make the most of it, I think it's amazing and everyone should live here once, you know, and experience the lifestyle. But when you get a little bit older, or you don't drink and you don't go out that much, it's just a bit silly to spend this much money.
Yeah, honestly, the first few years I spent in London, I loved it.
Yeah.
But you know, that was when I was 20. I just moved to London. I loved it. I went out every weekend. My life was completely different.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, as you just grow up and your priorities change, and
your lifestyle changes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
and I never regretted my decision, to be honed. So to
be honest, it's not like you're a million miles away, right? You're still quite within easy reach.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But saying that, I think since I moved, and it's been now almost 2 years, well, no, just a year and a half, I think I've been to London maybe twice. I've gone back to twice. I always say, I'm going to go to King's. But then the problem is that at LRF, where I train and work, it's such a good gym. And we have the equipment there, the atmosphere is amazing. So
yeah.
I'm always just so reluctant to make that long journey to Kings, but
yeah.
I'm
If it's
very,
inconvenient, there's no point, right?
yeah. But then, you know, I want to see people, so I want to see you guys. It would be
Honestly, so when
that's
I go
our
to
social.
Kings, I go to Kings at the weekend, especially if there's a competitive season on, and
Yeah,
it's literally every single London competitor is there, you know, like, and we all
yeah,
know each other, and yeah, it's really, really cool. I think that last time I went, there was like 15 of us, you know,
oh,
and you're training next to people that are not fucking around, you know, and
yeah,
even if you're really low on energy, like you're really prep. I remember Scarlett being literally like a couple of weeks out, and she just looked like she was dying, but she was smashing her training because everyone else around her is as well, you
yeah,
know, and it just motivates you so much that
yeah,
that's why I make the journey to Kings every weekend, because you know it takes me 2 hours to get there because I live in London and it's
yeah.
not actually even in London,
Yeah,
but
probably
yeah,
that would be the same for me as well. But you see,
yeah,
so I often make the mistake that I'm like, yeah, I had everything here, and you know,
yeah,
now it's literally fitness and the gym, and that's everything. Like I
yeah.
live in leggings. I
Yeah.
like I
I
literally
said to my
don't own
friend
any other
yesterday,
clothes.
I can't remember the last time I wore heels.
Yeah,
And
of
it's
course.
like, when I was younger, I used to wear heels. We're talking about the men's height in comparison to me, because I'm quite tall, right? I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
So with heels on, I'm 6 foot. So we were saying, should you ask someone on a dating app how tall they are? Because I think it's rude. But then you can turn up and they're shorter than you. But then I was like, I don't wear heels anymore. Even if I go on dates, I
Yeah.
still wear like boots, like, you know, something
Yeah.
comfortable, because I'm a gym chick now. I'm basic.
Yeah, I wear my heels for my check-ins,
Yeah.
videos. That's it, and for stage.
Yeah. So
That's it,
you
really.
moved down to the gym and then became a PT, but obviously you're also a coach now as well.
Yeah, I'm more a coach. So yeah, so it started with PT, and then I got involved in a gym management. I also got involved, obviously online coaching, but that's my own business.
Yeah.
I also got involved in a supplement online store and the Complete Strength supplement brand.
Yeah.
So a lot changed since I moved to Ashford, and again something had to give, and that was PTing. So I don't do a lot of PT anymore. I only have a couple of PT clients, but obviously when the gyms are open.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it's more the online coaching, because that's something that I can do from anywhere, basically. And also the work that I do for the supplement brands and the supplement store, that's really flexible as well.
Yeah.
So I don't
I
have
love the cherry Bakewell, by the way.
Oh, it's good, isn't it?
My God, so good.
Wait until you try the chocolate banana. Honestly, chocolate
Really?
banana, it will be so nice.
I just wonder if
So
it's because
good.
I'm obsessed with cherries. I'm drinking that Pepsi Max cherry right now. But yeah, I was impressed. Thanks.
Yeah, it's really good. Chocolate banana whip, and we have a couple of other flavors coming out as well. So it's just really exciting, and it's really something that I'm passionate about, and I enjoy working for the brand, and it's a brand that I'm happy to stand by, and you know, to give my name to it and represent it. So yeah, it's definitely exciting. But then last week, for example, it was just so busy with work, and last week just proved it to me that like I need to have a schedule. I need to stick to my routine, because if I don't do it, then you know, everything is just out of the window. Whereas when I worked in the corporate job, the hours were fixed. So from that respect, it was a lot easier, because I knew that, okay, between certain times I had to be in the office.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even think about training.
Yeah.
Whereas now I manage my time, but it's sometimes it's really challenging to be like, okay, like I had to remind myself this weekend after my check-in that, okay, I'm an athlete first.
Yeah.
So I need to prioritize that.
Yeah.
And then do everything else. And that doesn't mean that I don't do my job properly. You know, I still, obviously, I still try to do my best.
Yeah, of course.
I want to be the best at what I do. But yeah.
It's all a learning curve, isn't it? Trial and error to see what works for you.
Yeah, definitely. But it's just like routine, schedule, timetable. It's massive.
Yeah. Somebody has asked about online coaching and when you were ready to, like, how did you know you were ready to move from in-person to online? Because it's very different, isn't it? Especially dealing with people's nutrition.
Yeah, definitely. So with my PT clients, I never really do their nutrition. Like obviously I give them advice and tips, but it's not like I give them a personalized plan. So it literally is just a training session that they pay me for. Whereas the online coaching, that's obviously different because I give my clients personalized diet and training plans. We monitor their progress weekly. So yeah, I think it was just completely different. And I think it comes down to your personal preference. Like I prefer online coaching because it just gives me more flexibility.
Yeah.
You know, doing a one-on-one in-person training, you have to be present. You have to be there for 1 hour. You have to get to the gym. So it's just it doesn't give you as much flexibility as the online stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's just it comes down to my personal experience, because I used to have a PT when I started training like 5, 6, 7 years ago. But then that was it. Like after that, I never really had a PT anymore, because I figured it out myself.
Yeah.
Whereas online coaching, I've been working with Rob for 5 years now. So I know how much more I personally benefit from online coaching. So I think that's how I knew that, okay, that's the direction that I want to go into, because I think that's a lot more beneficial for a client than an in-person.
Oh, it has been that long, hasn't it? 5 years. I was thinking about when we came and watched you win the British for UKBFF. You were with Rob then, because I remember him being there.
Yeah, so that was 2016. Yeah. So this is.
Do you know what? That's the first time one of my friends had like succeeded. You know, it's just as I was starting to meet people, and your face, because they called forward the second person, like second place. So, but you hadn't realised you'd won. And we were already screaming, because you're just in a bubble, aren't you, on stage, thinking, what's my number? What's my number? Like in case I walk forward at the wrong time. Yeah, it was really, really cool.
I so many times I try to recall that feeling, and also when I won my pro card, and I cannot do it, because I think, as you said, you're
in a bubble,
and so you don't actually realize. But it's,
I mean, we've all seen the picture of me looking like I'm doing a poo on stage holding up my trophy. I don't even remember it, you know, and because they don't film the PCA shows, so I don't have a video of it. So it's like, at least with UKBFF I could watch it back, but now I'm like, oh, it's just these pictures, and I was like, what was I doing? That picture has been shared more than any other picture I've ever taken, because it's so silly, isn't it?
But it's raw. It's just, you know, like a pure happiness.
Yeah.
And
I just remember I felt like my smile came up here.
Yeah.
You know, when they want to take a picture of you and it is literally like
yeah. I think that's when you realize that you made it, like you achieved your goal, all that hard work that you put in. And you know, when you struggled and kept going and kept telling yourself that it's gonna pay off, it will be worth it. And then you get there and it's the realization that, oh my god, like I fucking smashed it.
Yeah. So I think that leads us really nicely actually into the mindset topic, because there were a lot of questions obviously around like what motivates us, what inspired us, what's the hardest prep you've ever had and why, how do you keep going. And it is, you're saying, like you've said a few times about the sacrifices you make and like just thinking at the end. Me myself, even the prep is a bit of a bubble, because if I think back to how shit it has been at times, surely I wouldn't do it again. But yet here I am, so excited to prep again.
Yeah.
But every prep is different. So my first one was horrible because it was fish and a rice cake, basically.
I remember that's when I started following you on Instagram.
Yeah. I can remember I used to do my cardio in the morning, fasted cardio, and I fainted. And I just got up and carried on walking. I nearly fell in the canal. I used to live in East London, and it was like from that day, I think I knew that my mindset was a little bit different to some of the girls that I had been talking to, and that I was just willing to go a little bit further into the dark zone that that we all go to be champions, right? There's no British champion that hasn't had something not bad happen, but only I think it was Natalie. She fainted on the Stairmaster. She had a drink. She got back on the Stairmaster and carried going, you know. We all do that, and that's how you get the condition to get to the top spot, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Have you got any horror stories?
I've got them all.
Yeah.
Honestly, like all my preps have been really different because, well, okay, I'm not gonna. I don't like to blame it on that, but so I've got a condition. I've got PCOS, and it makes I think it makes it harder to get condition.
Yeah.
And so I have to push really hard. I have to diet really hard and do a lot of cardio to get condition. But it's fine, you know. It's my own choice, and I always say that I think I used to have this conversation with Mel because she is like that as well. Like we kind of we are addicted to suffering, and we like the
I said exactly the same thing. I was saying that a lot of people found bodybuilding because they wanted to channel their mental health, whatever was going on, you know, like everyone's got a story, and it's usually anxiety or depression, things at home was shit, they didn't like their job, and it was an escape. And I think that people that are used to suffering can take a prep on the chin because we're used to suffering. It's just a different type, and it's self-inflicted this time. But yeah, I think that's that kind of dark place that you have to access to get that last month. If you're in a very conditioned federation or category, you really have to go as a woman somewhere awful sometimes, right? I felt like my body was shutting down in between finals and worlds in 2018. I actually thought I'm going to end up in hospital if I carry on, because I didn't know I was going to do worlds. I only qualified at finals, so I had 2 more weeks, and I just said to my coach, I don't think I can do it. Like I peaked for finals, and that was it. My body was done, and I was just like, but I'm so fortunate and so lucky to be invited to world championships. I have to go. But I couldn't stop eating. I didn't even tell her. She must have seen. I was just, but I was getting fuller and fuller, and I was still lean. And she was like, I've never seen you look like this. But then on the day, I had a protein bar for breakfast. I hope she's not watching this. Because my boyfriend at the time refused to get me food. Oh God, it was terrible. So yeah, it was my own fault. We booked a hotel without a kitchen and without a fridge. I'll never do that again.
No.
And I was just so like, ugh, and it just blew out my abs. That's probably not the reason I came second. Natalie that won was incredible, but you'll always think back to that one time and think, what if? You know, and now for this prep I did 8 weeks. I did not cheat my macros one day because I just remember the feeling at Worlds thinking, what if I hadn't done that? I'll never know. It just gives me the motivation and the drive to, you learn from your mistakes, right?
Exactly. I think that's how we do it, you know, like we all made this mistake. Like I made this mistake as well, but I thought that, you know, okay, I can go for a little bit more food here and there, just have an extra few bits, and then I placed third.
Yeah.
And you know, if you want to be a champion, you have to be on point with everything.
Yeah.
And as you said, so many times I'm like, okay, like what if?
Yeah.
What if I, you know, I don't cheat on my diet. I need to stick to everything, to the gram, because at least I can say that fine, I've given it my all, regardless how much I had to suffer, but I've given it my all. I couldn't have given anything else.
This time round, I actually stuck to exactly what my coach said for training and cardio as well, because in my last prep, I just do as much cardio as I thought necessary. I never stuck to, she'll say she gave me 300 calories worth, for example. I just didn't, whereas I stuck to it to the T. And some days I felt like I hadn't done enough. But I just thought, if I don't let her see how my body reacts to what she has prescribed, she can't coach me properly. And as you said, I will not stand on that stage ever again thinking, what if? If I don't place, it's because I don't deserve to, you know, like because the better person won. And I really, really, that for me and the mentality is, I think it was so important to make that mistake. It's a shame because I'll never know. Maybe I would be world champion now. But it's gonna stand me in better stead for the future, you know, like I think that I will do better as an athlete now because I fucked up, or maybe didn't fuck up, who knows.
I think you're right. I think you're going to use it as fuel, and you know, when many people would throw the towel in, you will be like, okay, no, I need to keep going because I don't want to make the same mistake again. I want to give 110% every single day.
Yeah.
And I think once you see your hard work pay off, so this is why I always say that winning my pro card kind of changed my life, as in, obviously, like becoming a pro, it's not really something tangible, like your life, you know, you don't get money. If anything, I just spend even more money on my shows now. But it just gave me that reassurance that I can achieve anything. That I if I really put my mind to it, and if I work hard, then eventually I'm going to achieve my goals. And this is why I know that, like, I'm really stubborn, and I just know that eventually I'm gonna make it to the Olympia stage, and because I'm just not gonna stop.
This is what I said, like, I think especially being in Britain, and for me being British, we're like kind of conditioned to be humble, but you can never say I am going to. So when I say I am going to be British champion that season, people were like, oh, you shouldn't, you know, or don't be arrogant. And it's like, no, I'm trying to just believe in myself and know that I'm good enough. And now I say, when I'm world champion, and people are like, oh, you're going to be so disappointed if it doesn't happen. And I was like,
but it is going to happen.
Because I'm going to make it happen. And if it doesn't happen at this Worlds, it's going to happen at the next one.
You know? Exactly.
I'm like a dog with a bone. Once I've realize that I'm kind of, or especially say, for example, when I realize that actually I'm competitive, because I just see myself as this skinny kid growing up, right? Because I only started training in my 30s as well. So it was like, I've been skinny all my life until like 34, 35. And it's only last year, and actually this week, I looked at my world's pictures for the first time because I hated the way I looked. Because I was been so tight and conditioned for finals that 2 weeks later, I actually looked better, healthier, fuller. My delts and my glutes are popping. But all I can see is my abs are blown out because of the bloody protein bar. So I looked at the pictures, the full lineup pictures, not just my individuals, and I look like them, you know, like, and we've got the same size legs. Mine are not as defined and not as shapely because I don't have as much muscle mass, but we were the same size. And then all of a sudden I was like, I've been telling myself this story that I'm so skinny compared to those girls, you know, and I need another year off, and I need another year off. And actually, I've got body dysmorphia, but the other way. Most people think that they like, but I think I'm too skinny, but I'm actually fine.
Yeah.
But you need, that's what your coach is for, isn't it? To keep your head screwed on tight and keep your head in the game. And I really like that you've been with yours for so long, because actually this is going to be my 3rd year with Laura as well. And so many people just jump and jump and jump between, which there is benefit in learning different ways. But your coach needs to learn your body, don't they? To bring the absolute best out of it, to help you understand it as well.
100%. And I think if something works, then just don't change it. Like I'm sure it would be good to learn other things, and you know, who knows, maybe I could be better if I was coached by someone else. I don't know, but
just the thing is, it's like training, right? You've got your basic movements, so none of the jazzy stuff is going to do much different. The basic things are the core. And I think the same about coaching, like, they've just got to know how to peak you. And that's the thing, isn't it? But anyone can diet you down. Anyone can starve you, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is what I always say to my clients as well. Like honestly, that's, I can get you lean in 8 weeks if I have to.
Anyone can get lean.
Anyone can do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's bringing that best full tight look on the day. That's when I need my coach. I don't know how to peak myself. I wouldn't be able to see it. On the day of finals, I wasn't eating anything because I thought that I'd spilled over. And I took my robe off, and she just said, "You're really flat. Go and eat 2 packets of crisps." I was just like, what?
Yeah, honestly, like sometimes I know, especially after the at the 3-4 weeks out mark, I totally have my prep goggles on, and I'm like, I'm literally I'm shredded, and I've got lines in my glutes, and I would be like, I check in and I would be like, oh my God, we are not gonna make it. I'm fat, like, it's, you know, but we still have like 5 kilos to get off me. And then my coach would be like, yeah, your glutes are striated, so maybe
we can
shut up.
Yeah.
so yeah, and I think the more shows you do with the same coach, and as you said, they learn your body, they learn to PQ. Every time now we prep, we achieve a better look.
Yeah.
And I'm confident that it's because now we just work really efficiently together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think staying with the same coach pays off.
I think even like, so I've got a friend who is coached by my coach as well. And the way that Laura deals with both of us is so different. The way she talks to both of us, because she knows what I need. She knows that I need no bullshit. Tell me how it is. Don't sugarcoat it. And if I'm not doing it, something right, tell me off. And I'll be like, oh shit, fuck, I'll do it. Whereas with the other girl, she's more softy approach, because that's that personality type needs, you know. I really like that. You know,
Yeah.
that is the human element of a good coach as well. It's not just, this is your macros, this is what you should eat. It's like they need to understand your mindset as well. And she says,
Yeah.
like, she knows that no matter what I do, especially because I lead a quite lax off season when it comes to my diet. I just ate 2 cheesecakes and a packet of crisps. I just won the dream bikini posing suit.
Yes,
and
I
as
know.
she sent me the message, I was eating a family-sized packet of crisps, and I was like, I've got to wear a bikini now on Instagram. Yeah, I was so excited. But yeah, because I do have, I don't diet in the off season. I just make sure I eat a shit ton and I train hard and it's working. But she says, like, I just know that when you prep, no matter what, you do absolutely everything you need to do and you bring it. And I was like, and that's because she stayed with me. Because if I went to a new coach now and they saw my diet in the off season, for example, or how much alcohol I drink, it's not optimal, but for me it's a hobby. You know, it's never going to be my career, and I need that coach to understand that as well, that my mindset is 110% in when I'm prepping, but when I'm not prepping, I need the balance of a social life. Like, that's very important to me. And I also need to work on my career because I do work for someone else.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's so important to have that kind of relationship with your coach. And I think that's the kind of relationship I have with Rob as well. He knows that I do follow a diet in my off season, but I'm really relaxed as well. As in, if I want a free meal, I'm just gonna have a free meal. But he also knows that when it's prep, I can just literally from 1 minute to the next, I can just switch, and I will be like, fine, now it's prep, and he knows how much he can push me. So like if I started with working with a new coach now, it would take a long time for that coach to understand how hard I can work and how much I can be pushed. Whereas Rob is really not afraid to like put me on 1100 calories and 2 hours of cardio.
I tell you what, I will be losing weight. I lean up really quickly and I'll be getting super lean super quick, and I'll be like, she's not going to change anything. I look amazing. It's all reacting. And she's like, right, mate, we're going to drop the hammer. And I'm like, huh? But she knows that I can take it because I will do anything it takes to win. I can remember begging her for a meal plan because we're a macros based team until the last 4 weeks usually. But work was so busy and I just had no brain capacity for food. So I was like, just write me a meal plan. She's like, I don't want to make you eat stuff you don't want to eat. And I was literally like, if you told me to eat a dog shit, I would eat it. Because I want to win. I'm not competing to take place here. I want to be British champion. And I mean, we did it. I mean, I literally joined with her on day 1 of my prep for British. So she didn't have any kind of metrics from me, and we had to just make it up as we went along. But yeah, I think that mentality that people will do what it takes, it's few and far between, to be honest, because most people can't go through that much suffering. It is suffering. Like, we've all cried, right? I've like,
oh god, like the amount of times I cry in a prep, maybe not in my last prep, but again, because I think I'm just so used to,
you're like a robot,
prep,
right?
so I just know what to expect now. So I'm in prep now, and I'm just under 12 weeks out now, and I just know that in a couple of weeks' time we just have to start pushing really hard because it's prep. So you know,
somebody's asked how do you get through like those hard times where you feel like you can't go on? It's from another competitor. And for me personally, I literally will kind of in my mind know who my biggest rival is. So for my season last year, it was this girl Natalie, and I just imagined, first of all, Natalie, me being called in second place, and then her in first, and I'm like, fuck no. And then for the rest of the time and the rest of my cardio, every bloody day, I just kind of visualized myself being called forward in first every single first hour of the day for my cardio route, just walking around the park. My visualization, literally imagining the feeling and seeing it in my head of me being called forward in first. And those days where I did not want to get out of bed, I'd literally rise like a zombie. That would be the first thing I think about to set the tone for the day. And literally just take that one day at a time. Don't never think about the next day. I just tick the boxes for that day, die in bed, get up, repeat.
I think you know, motivation will only take you so far. So the final few weeks of prep, motivation will not be there. So you just have to remain disciplined, really, and kind of switch to like a robotic mode where you just keep ticking the boxes. And I do the same. I visualize. So when I do my cardio, and it's literally I am in the audience, or I'm in the judge's seat, and I just imagine the whole show, and you know, I'm being called first. So that's one way of doing it. Or sometimes there is a thing called creative visualization. Creative, I think. Where you don't just see yourself, but you can also, you know, you smell the tan, you feel the weight of the bikini, or how you touch your bikini when you're doing your makeup. You can your mouth being really dry from not drinking enough water, you know, it's feeling the sweat on your back when you pose. I hope they are not watching now, but I know a couple of people who are going to do the same show, not my first show, but the other shows that I'm planning later on. And I'm really competitive. So obviously I do this whole thing for myself, and I want to improve my physique, and this is why I compete. But I also compete to win.
So I had this discussion yesterday. Like, I compete to win, but it's not to show anyone else anything. I compete to win for myself. So I think that's really different. Some people want to win and want to place because they're worried what other people think about them. I don't give a shit what other people think anymore. I used to when I was younger. Now I just want to do it for myself. I want to be proud of myself, and I want to make my coach proud, because they have invested so much time and energy in you, right? They become like your best friend and your worst enemy all at once, because they're the ones that you offload to, they're the ones that you talk to, they're the ones that you cry to, that you beg for more food to.
Literally. And I think that's actually another good point here, like how you keep motivated. You find a person or a couple of people who you do it for, because especially at our level now, in my Arnold prep at the beginning of the year, I put a huge amount of pressure on myself, because I thought I have an incredible team around me. I have obviously a coach, a supplement brand, my friends, my colleagues at the gym who would, you know, do my shifts just so I can rest more or do more cardio. I have a sports therapist. I have my bikini designer, dream bikini, and these people, they put money and also time and energy into helping me to achieve my goal, you know. So I'm like, I'm not just doing it for myself, I'm doing it for these people as well, because obviously they do it because they want to do it, and
they believe in you.
But they would never put pressure on me, but I want to make them proud, because I just really appreciate the energy and time that they put into my goal.
For sure. I think when it comes to sponsorships, I don't think that other people realize that what the sponsorship really is is you generating more business for them, right?
Yeah.
By being successful. So that is how you do that for them, and you give back to them, because like if I've got a sponsor for anything and then they get business because of my performance, that's how I've repaid them in kind for investing in me. But obviously I would never put my name to something that I didn't believe in as well. No. But same as they wouldn't, you know, their reputation is on the line in your name.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do understand, like, you just want to be the very best so that they can also benefit, right?
Yeah.
Because it's definitely a circle, that relationship, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. And it's just, honestly, there is no better feeling than having your team at your show, shouting your name and just celebrating with you. And just, you know, when I won my pro card, there is a picture of my friends and my coach, and they were just so, like, honestly, that picture just brings tears to my eyes, because it's just so beautiful, so genuine. So that is, again, something that motivates me, that okay, it's a shit day today, it's really tough, I really don't want to do this cardio, but I want to relive that feeling. So,
I love it too. That's why I was saying to my friends, if there are shows this year but there's no audience, I'm not going to bother, because it's not the same. It's about sharing it with them. It's about them shouting your name and you're on stage, and it makes you laugh, not just smile, right? Because there's some of the things they say is cheeky anyway, and it's just like,
and
you do it.
You the confidence as well. Like I love. I'm so lucky that Rob comes to most of my shows, and now obviously the shows are in the shows are abroad. But last year, for my pro debut, he came to Romania with me. He was going to come to Australia with me. So it just gives me that confidence. It's really good to you know, to have that person there and hear them from the crowd.
Somebody did ask about they've called us a clique, that all the champions and all the pros are in one little group of friends, and they think it's a clique. But what I had to say about that is, your friends are the people that share your values and you're loyal, like, you're very similar types of people. And the reason that they are pros or champions or, you know, doing really well is because they have the same drive and the same work ethic, and you relate to each other more. It's not about whether you're a pro, if you're my friend. It's like, do you understand what I'm going through? Can I share this with you? And you not say, oh, just eat it, you'll be fine. You know, it's about saying, fuck me, I'm so hungry, I want to eat this piece of paper. And you saying, but just imagine the trophy in your hand, and you're like, yeah, you're right. You know, it's about, for me, that's my tribe, are just like-minded people, and we share the same sense of humor usually. You know, like, we've all got a little dry, dirty sense of humor that's inappropriate.
But
it's, I wouldn't say, if I look at even doing these lives, right, every single person is my friend, and quite good friends, and that's why they work really well, because we're just chatting. And then I look at the people that I've had in this series of lives, and I'm so grateful and so lucky to know such amazing people. But then it's all circles back, you know, if you are a good friend, you have good friends, you know, and if you are have a champion mindset, so will your friends, because otherwise you don't relate to each other.
I don't think it's a clique thing.
No, I don't at all.
I just think that you know, you are the, they say,
the sum of the 5 people around you.
Exactly. So you kind of, you try to surround yourself with people who share your passion, who you can learn from, who motivate you, who inspire you. And, like, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that, like, an average Joe cannot inspire me, because if anything, like, right now, you know, seeing my clients being creative with their training, seeing people who don't have access to gym or gym equipment, building their gym equipment, that
people have blown me away
so much. Like, they have all my respect, because if I had to do it, probably I couldn't.
Yeah, I didn't even train until my equipment came. It took a month because I just couldn't bring myself to do the banded workouts. And some people have been so creative and so diligent, and I admire them. And I say to people that don't compete, the lifestyle clients of my friends and my friends that just train and diet for lifestyle, I don't know how you do it. Because I couldn't do it if it wasn't about to compete. And I respect you so much more. I respect those people more than my competitor friends, as much as I admire them, because we're doing it for a very specific reason. And it's very easy to drag the drive up because you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of thousands of people in a bikini. But for the person who is doing that day in and day out and living this lifestyle very similar to us, really, just with a bit more food, and they're not competing, fucking hats off to them.
Like I can never diet for a holiday, so I'm just really cautious when I pick the dates of my holidays. So it's always after a show, like 2 weeks after a show. But I'm not shredded anymore because I eat all the food.
Or when the sun makes all your veins come out and everyone around the pool is looking at you like, what the fuck is that?
No, it definitely. So I don't think I just think that it's such a small circle in the UK. And obviously there are,
especially in London and the surrounds, there's just not as many competitors. There's literally 3 or 4 gyms that we would be able to go to that we would all be there. For sure. No, well, we've only got 2 minutes left. It's absolutely flown by. But do you have any final words of wisdom for anybody that's going to watch this about either going from corporate to fitness and following your dream, or mindset?
Basically it's just about both, really. Like, if you've got a dream, if you've got a goal, just go for it. And there is no right time. If you think that, okay, I'm gonna wait a little bit, I'm gonna see what happens next year, just don't, because there is no perfect time. Just go for it, and honestly, like, you will figure it out. You will just jump, and
it's always going to be okay, even if it's not the version that you thought it was going to turn out like.
Exactly. Like, just think about, like, okay, what is the worst thing that can happen? Because that was my thought process as well. Like, okay, like, if it doesn't work out, I can always go back and find a shit job somewhere. You know, I go to Sainsbury's, whatever. There are jobs out there. So I will be fine. I will figure it out. But at least I'm gonna try. And if it's something that you enjoy, it's gonna work out 100%.
And you're gonna learn some lessons even if it doesn't, right?
I've
learned so much transferable from competing into my real life, and it's benefited my job so much as well. Because I'm so disciplined and so bloody driven now, and I can just get shit done and move on to the next thing. I wasn't like that before. No, it's cool. Well, thank you so much.
Oh no, thank you.
I knew I'd love it. I'm going to put this on my IGTV, and I'm going to put it on my YouTube. Wonderful. And I'll send you a link so you can share it.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I've got to train now.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I've left it.
What are you training?
Only upper body. So it was only upper body. So a few side laterals, basically.
Don't make sure that the shoulders are not too big.
Are they ever too big? I don't know.
No. No.
I'll just stand with my legs wider apart. It'll be fine. Thank you so much, Babs.
Thank you
Lots
for
of
having
love.
me.
Thank you guys that were watching.
Thank you. Bye.